Hi, this is DJ Chris at targetedwest.com. This is your V2K call and directed energy weapons call. We've been around for 3.5 years, and we're a peaceful group that meets every Sunday to get together to talk about technology and books. The opinions of our guests are that of their own and not that of Targeted West or DJ Chris. This is show number 174. It's the 17th of August 2025, and we have Onion Head Andrew with us tonight. So without further ado, let's switch over to Andrew. How are you? Let's go ahead.
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for having me, DJ Chris.
You're welcome. So what's new? What technologies and stuff do you have to share with us?
Okay, so recently we figured out how to deactivate implants using EMPs. And these EMPs can be easily made using a stun gun. So if you just buy a $30, $40 stun gun, usually 8,000 to 12,000 volts, and you wrap or you have a coil of wire and then glued to one side and then a spark gap on the other, that's what generates the pulse, the spark gap. You can use those to fry implants. And what I've noticed is that every target has, if you're being targeted with the gang stalking, the counterintelligence torture teams, whatever you want to call that, the directed energy weapons, the V2K, Morgellons, a lot of people notice it, a lot of people don't. That's nanotech. Let's say the older version of nanotech. Either way, if you've got that paradigm of things going on in your life, right, and the break-ins and all the other stuff, people trying to run you off the road, military contractors following you, that was the counterintelligence torture teams. You've got all that going on. The paradigm of the weapon system is not just directed energy weapons. The directed energy weapons are aimed using implants. The implants, in turn, send a low pulse of voltage, a stray voltage is what I've been calling it. And excuse me, because there hasn't been a standard nomenclature for these things. We don't have a standard verbology or words that we use to reference these things. So this is going to sound like things that you've already heard, but it's going to be phrased the way that I talk about them. But you ask me questions at the end of what I've said. Anyways, the implants send out low voltages. The low voltages, in turn, order nanomachinery inside the body. The nanomachinery gets inside the body through the food, the air, and the water. Mostly, another word for this is smart dust. Another word for this is chemtrails. Okay? There is nanomachinery growing from the inside out of the whole population everywhere. That is the hardware of the fourth industrial revolution. This is much, much bigger than targeted individuals. Targeted individuals are just the active, full-bore weapons testing of this program that's rolling out across the whole world right now. So this nanomachinery is growing in vivo in your body. And then targeted individuals have another level, or survivors have another level, is they have nanobots sprayed into their near environment during break-ins primarily, but they can also be aerosolized and drifted from a distance. Okay, so you've got implants. The implants are in subcutaneous. They're very, very small, usually. Sometimes they're implanted during surgery. Most often, they're shot into you using rail guns that can literally penetrate various barriers, let's say like drywall, for example, or roofing material, things like that. So the implants are sending low voltages. The low voltages are ordering nanomachinery and nanobots. The nanomachinery and nanobots are dropping a payload of polymers. These things are coming together, the nanomachinery, the nanobots, they're forming polymers, okay? These polymers are penetrating your body, your organs, and your mind. When these polymers are hit with directed energy weapons, it's sending voltages through your body, all right? These polymers are made of graphenes, they're made of other heavy metals and synthetic heavy metal compounds that, again, are in the food and air and water, and also aerosolized into a targeted survivor's environment. So I'm going to repeat this one more time. Implants, nanomachinery coming from the inside out and outside in, and then directed energy weapons triggering that. That's really what's going on. Now, there's more to it than that, but that's as simply as I can say it. There is also particulate that's often being floated, or I say floated, drifted using weather weapons in a targeted individual's environment, survivor's environment, again, from the air above to the sides and below. The below is the sewer, to the sides are spook neighbors, and above is the chemtrails. Okay, so that's just another layer of things going on. The reason I brought it up is because those heavy metals in particulate form get pulled by the implants. So the implants are triggered with the directed energy weapons, the particulate and other stuff that's in the food, the air, and the water, the air particulate that is, gets pulled to those areas. The nanomachinery grows from point A to point B, and then directed energy weapons trigger that voltage or trigger a stray voltage to go through that area. And that's how these directed energy weapons, sending very low energy, mostly speaking, can penetrate so deeply within your body, is they're accessing artificial nervous systems that nanomachinery more or less is put there. And that's what targeting really is. If you're targeted, that's what's really going on with you. So the first thing you do is you deactivate the implants using the EMP stun gun. Now, I've got all of this on Onionhead Andrew Rumble's page, on my Rumble page, Onionhead Andrew on Rumble. I've got all of this sourced. So I'm not bothering with the sources right now. I'm just getting right into the meat of it. But the first thing you do is you deactivate the implants. And what you'll start feeling after that's happened is you'll start feeling these channels of polarization through your body. And then you'll know what I'm saying is true. When the nanomachinery is everywhere, and that was the case for me up until I started deactivating the implants. And these implants are so small and they get everywhere. Because like I said earlier, they're using rail guns and they're shooting them into people for the most part. Now, that's not always the case. Sometimes they get them during surgery. I've got a few that came into me through surgery, but the majority of the ones in my body were shot into me. Once you deactivate these all over your body, and there was probably 40, 50 of them when I first did this. Since that point, there's been more because these people have responded and they've shot more into me. And I know this sounds crazy, but this whole thing is crazy. Either way, the implants, when you deactivate them, you feel the artificial nervous system, and then you can really start feeling these pulses of energy that is foreign to your body move through you and literally shock you. And most of us already have that experience to some extent, but not as acutely as you will when you deactivate the implants. After you deactivate the implants, it's just a matter of keeping the nanomachinery from growing in you and the nanobots off of you, which is a whole nother thing. But I've also made a recent video, it was the last video I made, showing a device that can do that for you with the proper application. It's a high voltage rotary spark gap machine. And just using, I don't want to get too far into that because it's much more technical, but it is relevant. With these two things, the EMP device and the rotary spark gap, you can put yourself as close as anyone's ever gotten to being free from this weapon system that I'm referring to. And this is the weapon system. This is much, much bigger than targeted individuals, or maybe it's that targeted individuals are the beginning of it, would be the better way to say this. This is the fourth industrial revolution's prison. This is the fourth industrial revolution's military, their police. This is the whole system that's rolling out, and it's all on the back of, quote, targeted individuals. So I know I just said a lot. There's a lot to take in there, and none of it was sourced, but I can answer questions, or we can get more into specific of the technologies and how it works.
Very good. Well, this show is about the fourth industrial revolution, so you fit right in. So you're using a spark gap device, and it's rotary to break down the signals that are coming in to attack you. Do you think that would help with V2K also?
I'm using it right now. It does not help with V2K. I believe
Gotcha.
V2K is mechanical signals, but
Gotcha.
I don't have that one broken. I've got the nano machinery and the implant side of this. I wish I had the V2K, but still working on it.
Gotcha. So, where do we find all the parts that we need to make this little zapper that will help you with your chips?
Well, the zapper is incredibly easy to make if you're at all handy. All you need is a stun gun, a coil of wire, so about 10 feet of wire, let's say 18 gauge, braided. Um, you probably could use just about anything, though, around 18 gauge, and it would work. Magnetic wire works even better. But you take it, you coil it about this diameter, and you put it on a piece of cardboard. You hot glue the whole thing down to a stick. You hot glue the stick to the stun gun, so it all becomes one piece. And then you can use the stun gun, and to deactivate, you just move it around, and it will deactivate the implants as you're firing it off. That energy that's coming through the coil of wire from the stun gun to the coil of wire to the spark gap back to the stun gun is sending out a donut shape of energy. Toroidal is another term for it, and it's pulsing very, very quickly. And it's this 12,000 volt toroidal that's pulsing very quickly that disables the ability for the implants to send voltage through your body. So basically, the directed energy weapons can still be aimed at them, but they will no longer passively collect energy and distribute it in your body, therefore disabling the avenues and channels of polarization to go through your body, which is another way to say the artificial nervous system that's been constructed in your body. And again, this is happening in the whole population. It's just with targeted individuals, these government contractors, military contractors, these human traffickers, whatever you want to call them, counterintelligence, these torture teams, all those things are what they are. What they're doing is they are curating it. They're manicuring it. They're cultivating this nanotech in you to derive specific outcomes at specific times. So heart attack, kidney disease, liver disease, disabling headaches, that sort of thing. But all of that data that they're collecting on people is getting put into data ledgers that is going into automated systems to be rolled out on the public. And it is rolling out on the public. The vaccine injured are the rollout of the automated systems on the public. That's literally what that is, plus extra stuff, because there was extra stuff in the vaccines.
Someone in the chat room wanted to know if you have a diagram, or do you share that information on your Rumble channel on how to make this?
Yes, it's on the Rumble channel. If you just go Onion Head Andrew on Rumble, you'll see the videos. There's 2 videos. James Shin is a targeted individual. I don't know where he went. If you're out there right now, please respond.
But he also got rid of his implants by using a stun gun.
Yes, that's where I got the idea from. That's what I was going to say.
Wow.
I
didn't know that.
Yeah, I've got his video from 5 years ago. I haven't been able to get a hold of him, but James Shin's video, and then I've got my explanation of it, what I just talked about with the nanomachinery and the implants. And once you understand that the directed energy weapons are not happening in a vacuum, that they're happening with the nanomachinery present, then it will really illuminate what's going on in your body. And that brings me to shielding, which is what this was titled as. And what I'm going to say about that is you will find shielding that works one day and doesn't work a few days later. Like Mylar is a great example of that. Stainless steel screen is a great example of that. Copper, it doesn't shield quite, it attenuates. It's a different kind of concept, but you'll find all these things work for a limited time, the shielding, but don't forever. And that's because the nanomachinery is being accessed at whatever point in the electromagnetic spectrum that the counterintelligence torture teams can access it. I literally just spent the last 90 days, 120 days, battling these people up and down the electromagnetic spectrum. And what I mean by that is when I published the implant device, how to do that, the James Shin video, and then my explanation of it, and started pushing that, because it's a great thing. Every targeted person should be doing it. These people came at me again at another extreme level. And they've been coming at me extreme level for a long time, like a lot of people have experienced, the murder attempts, all that type of thing, kidnapping attempts, a lot of things going on. But yeah, everything you could imagine they've tried doing at this point. But either way, about 90 days ago, they came at me hard, and they wanted to try to utilize the weapon system to get around the fact that the implants were no longer working. So they went way, way low on the frequency range they were attacking me with, and then they went really high. And then they used really high weapons and really low weapons at the same time. What I mean by that is like ultra low frequency, extremely low frequency in that range, all the way up to gamma ray or something. I don't know. I don't have the right equipment to know exactly what range they're hitting in. But you can literally feel the difference upon your body and skin with these different weapon systems when nanomachinery is present. So that goes to the bigger point. If you get rid of this nanomachinery in your body and on your body, because there's nanobots that are coming from the outside in, and then there's nanomachinery from the chemtrails, smart dust, that type of thing, growing from the inside out. If you can get rid of these things on your persons, then the whole range of directed energy weapons that these people will use will become almost null and void. Like currently I'm getting hit, but because this nanomachinery isn't present in my body, because I've been using these high voltages and the stun gun, it feels like anywhere between a little spot that's being heated to sometimes, it's hard to describe, a slight numbing sensation would be the best way to describe it. It's not that they stopped attacking me with the directed energy weapons. It's that the nanomachinery is no longer penetrating into my body, allowing these channels of polarization. So this artificial nervous system is no longer there to be activated with directed energy weapons. So back to shielding, when you find something that works and then it doesn't work, this is what's going on. They're just lowering their weapon systems frequency range, or they're getting different different pieces to utilize that are accessing at a lower or a higher frequency range, depending on whatever they need to do. And not only that, but they could be arraying this differently, meaning a lot of times the weapon systems are aimed at us like a cone when it's like a radio frequency range or a microwave range. And then when it's a tighter range, like millimeter wave, it's aimed in like a laser or like a beam. But they can take an RF, a cone-shaped weapon that's normally cone-shaped, and angle it so it refracts at you like a beam weapon. So basically two cones hit you, and then where it hits you, it acts like a beam weapon. So it's not only just that they're accessing pretty much the full electromagnetic spectrum to attack people, it's that they can array them differently to attack people too. So to get past it, that whole thing is to get the nanomachinery out of your body. And the first thing to do that, again, to repeat myself, is to deactivate the implants and make a habit of deactivating the implants. Just get that stun gun, maybe get 2 of them and keep them next to you and just keep doing it all the time. Not all the time.
Yeah. Gotcha. What else would you like to talk about?
Well, I think that's a huge thing I've just said, especially without sources. And I think people are probably going to have questions about it, and to further illuminate this thing, because I know that's a lot to take in.
Okay, well, we'll switch to Q&A mode for people to ask questions and see what happens. We have 52 people on the call right now, so that's a good amount. Let's go ahead and switch. Hi, you got Onion Head Andrew with us tonight. If you've got a question for Andrew, come on in. And hello, Deb K. Come on in if you have a question.
I have a question. Have you ever heard of come on, what do we call the cones, the copper cones, the radar reflectors?
No, I don't
Well,
know.
I've been making them, and they really help me. And sometimes it refracts back like a gun, on these big beams, and it stops.
So copper does something special. Copper attenuates. So when these weapon systems, you can actually wear copper, but if it starts hurting you, take it off, because there is another weapon system they can use to ionize the copper to basically depolarize it. But either way, what copper does is it takes a heavy magnetic charge, and like imagine a string being played just like a regular guitar string. And what they're doing, if that's confusing, I'm sorry. Imagine a transverse wave. That's a wave like this, right? That's all the weapon systems they're using, from extremely low frequency all the way up to gamma rays. They're all transverse waves. When a transverse wave hits copper, eventually it goes into nullification. It goes into voidance. So the more copper you put in your environment, and especially if you spin that copper, you see this ceiling fan in the background? I have copper wire that I twisted up and I attached to this ceiling fan right here. So this ceiling fan is spinning with copper. What that's doing is it's deionizing this area. It's demagnetizing this area.
Where did you put it in the blades?
I put it on the back side of the blade so it didn't have to fight gravity. So it's on the top. I'm not going to move the laptop to show you. It'd just be too much, but
you laid it on the top of the blade?
Yep, and then I hot glued it and I used mounting tape. That's also on the Onion Head Andrew Rumble. What's that?
One strip of copper, or how big?
I used copper wire and I twisted it. If you go on Onion Head Andrew Rumble, I've got videos on it. It's a chemtrail buster. That's also a chemtrail buster. So not only does it help your near environment, it also helps the environment around you. It breaks up chemtrail. It helps dissipate them. It doesn't do it immediately, but it helps a lot.
I need to talk to you because I used to work for the government systems. I used to build prototype devices for the government submarines. And they taught me how to read blueprints and schematics. It was a really good job, but then they dissolved it. So I could easily make one of those devices you're talking about.
Yeah, and you should if you can, you should. Everyone should, in my opinion. If everyone did, the New World Order bullcrap that we're going through right now would be over tomorrow, because the chemtrail would just, all would fall from the sky. Yep.
Yeah, we want to make them for targeted individuals. I would make them for free and send them all over everywhere.
Yeah, I put them on ceiling fans because that's most effective, but I also make box fans of them too. I've got like 3 or 4 of these things in my house. So when the targeting is really bad, I'll turn up all of them, and it will help demagnetize the whole area. So it just helps passively. It's not a be-all, end-all, but it helps.
Do you have a picture or a diagram of that? Then we can see it?
Yeah, well, on Onion Head Andrew Rumble.
Okay, all right. All right, thank you so much. I'll leave it open for other people, for other TIs. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Next question for Andrew in line here on Targeted West. Laura, do you have a question? Anyone?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
I do. I couldn't understand what your last name is to go on and look at it. Andrew what?
No, it's Onion Head Andrew.
Oh, Onion Head.
Yeah. Yeah, I did that so people could remember it better.
Because she doesn't have any hair.
Are you on YouTube?
Yeah. It's on Rumble.
Rumble. Okay.
Yeah. YouTube literally wouldn't let me upload.
How long have you? What year do you think you got chipped in?
The first one was probably 2015.
See, I can't tell because I can hear them turning something on in my ear, which I believe they're downloading my thoughts to a computer. So that's why I'm not so sure. Would that be a sign of being chipped?
Yeah, 100%. They use the auditory cortex to calibrate their machines.
Yeah, they're heating up my ears really big time now. Does that mean they're going to start doing something else to me through my ears or the cortex?
Well, what it means is that you've got a bunch of nanomachinery in that area. Whether that came from outside in or inside out, I wouldn't know. But usually the ears are outside in, meaning nanobots. And what they're doing is they're heating that up so that they can send polarization, they can send charges through the nanomachinery into your brain. And I bet you it's on the left side of your head.
Well, lately they've been doing both ears.
Yeah.
They
yeah,
can't
extra
get the
effect.
one that goes to the other.
Yeah, normally they like aiming for the left side of the head because it holds the part of the brain they're trying to affect.
Yeah. Does that mean they're going to give me dementia or something, or you just don't know either?
Well, I wouldn't know particularly what the experiment, what they're trying to drive into you, but in generally speaking, they're just trying to jam your brain up.
Okay. And so how do you know where you're chipped to hit yourself with stun guns? Or you just do it everywhere?
Start off with everywhere, and when you start deactivating these things, you'll know exactly where they are, because the charge will no longer go through your body and you won't be able to feel it. It'll go right to the spot they aim, and you'll feel it acutely at that spot. And usually on people, this is the most hit spot right here, then this area right here, and then in the face, in the back of the head, this back of the neck right there, that's another heavy spot. But from there, it just decreases the percentage of places that get hit.
What, is there a certain stun gun you get?
You can get any stun gun, but I would get one with a nice hearty, a nice solid switch, with like a nice, good, solid toggle switch, not a push button. Push button switches have a tendency of burning out, but they still sell them for some reason, these companies. So you'll get like 5 uses out of that, and then it will just die. So if you get a nice toggle switch, it's one that moves like this, like that. I don't know if you can see.
I'm not on it.
Okay, well, it's one you press down. It'd be like, I'm trying to think of a switch that commonly a toggle switch. I know, like cars used to have a long time ago.
I can Google it and figure it out. But what were you saying about the fans that you have? You put what kind of, just copper wire twisted up?
Yeah, copper wire twisted up, and then you hot glue it, or you use tape. I would use tape and hot glue to the ceiling fan blades, or to any blade of any fan, and then you spin that copper, and it demagnetizes the area. So it will demagnetize. Yeah.
What gauge?
Any gauge. It's just a matter of, can you get it to stay on your fan? Because the inertia of the fan is...
Is it like 3 feet long, the copper wire, or just a hand's length,
Well, if you go to Onion Head Andrew Rumble channel, I've got I've got instructional videos.
So what state do you live in?
Washington.
Oh, I was hoping you were Florida.
Yeah, it's literally the opposite.
I sent it to you, Cindy. I sent you the link.
I put the link, Andrew's link for Rumble in the chat, so we can just click on it.
Yes, that's awesome.
Thank you, Michelle, and I got your call.
Andrew, I'd like to talk to you personally sometime, because I could make a lot of stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the more of this stuff we get out to people, the better off everyone's going to be. The end-all, be-all to everything I've been working on is the high-voltage rotary spark gap. Because with the high-voltage rotary spark gap, you take the same idea that's going on in this ceiling fan, and you magnify it times 100. And the demagnetizing effect is so powerful. This you can feel a little bit sometimes, depending how heavily you're being targeted. But when you turn that high voltage rotary spark gap machine on, you can feel it instantly. And not only that, but you can do other things with it. You can make an EMP device that attaches to it. And then you could also, there's other things I'm working on right now that are just totally next level. If I know the name Michael Chapala, is kind of, there's a mixed result of what people feel about him. And I think he kind of gets a bad rap. But Michael Chapala was killed, I think, 3-4 years ago. He invented all this stuff already. He figured it all out. That's why they poisoned him and killed him down in Mexico. Or he was on the border, but he got poisoned. He went out to eat one night. He got poisoned, and then they gave him a heart attack. How they do that, by the way, just throwing this out there, is they put particulate into people's food. If they know you're going to be somewhere at a certain time, there's many ways they can do that. It's not always because they have someone in the chef's room on board. Sometimes it's just because they walk by you and they have this aerosolized spray that they basically drift into your food. And because we're talking about nano size, it penetrates. So if you eat a solid amount of this particulate, what happens is it can be more or less vibrated throughout your body. There's a meme, but never mind, it doesn't matter. An idea, if everyone remembers X-Men, the first X-Men movie, I know this is kind of out there, but Magneto, he gets one of his prison guards to eat metal, and then he or one of his helpers does it, and then he rips this metal out of them and escapes prison. When they're giving people heart attacks, strokes, very acute conditions that are very rapid onset, that's usually what's happened. Is you've been poisoned, and then they're aiming these directed energy weapons at a certain spot. For Michael Chapala, that night, it was his heart they aimed at. Now, I don't know any of this 100%, but I've literally seen this happen in my personal life to people I love. A heart attack and die, and other situations because of this poisoning and stuff like that. But anyways,
I caught someone putting a clear packet of something on my hamburger. It was a clear packet. The guy, the waiter, put it on there, and the cook was holding the bun open, and it looks like a ketchup packet, but only it's clear stuff.
Yeah, I've never seen it in its solid form, but I know what they do is they give it to these people and they say, hey, you eat it. It's not bad for you if you're not crazy. And these people, they'll eat it and they'll go, oh, nothing happened to me. But it's a two-stage weapon, right? It has to be activated with directed energy weapons to cause those crazy outcomes. So a lot of people that are in the community harassment side of this, they'll put it in the food thinking that it's like medicine for your schizophrenia, because that's a common lie they'll use. And they have no idea that they're literally killing people. They're literally killing people using this poison, this heavy metal particulate. That's what it is. It's heavy metal, and I bet you it's probably graphene-based, but I don't know that for sure. Usually it is. Could be like aluminum, a highly conductive aluminum.
Thank you, Andrew. Next question for Andrew from the audience.
I have a question.
Yes, come on in.
Hey, Chris. Hi, Andrew. My name's Dee.
Hi.
I'm just getting like vibrations at night when I sleep. It's through my entire body. Mm-hmm. I can't completely wake up out of it, but I can feel it. And it's basically from head to toe. How are they doing that, and what's the best way to block that?
Okay, so this is exactly what I was talking about. If you want to block that tonight, get Mylar. Get some Mylar. It won't block it completely, but it will help it dramatically. If you want to make sure that you don't sleep through it, use oil. Put oil on your eyelids, okay? Because there's two things going on. There's nanomachinery inside your body, and then there's nanobots on the outside of your body. When you leave your house, what they do is they spray this shit all over everything, your clothes, your furniture, especially beds, all right? This is also how they're sexually attacking people. These nanobots, they crawl into your orifices, okay? They do it very slowly. They're very, very small. So they'll move probably this much every 45 minutes an hour. Okay, so you imagine you put your head where it's been sprayed, and it stays available on the mattress for like a year, one spraying of it, and it's going to move this much. I don't know if you can see me, but it only take 2.5 hours for it to get to your eyes, the nanobots.
Okay.
So the nanobots, they cake your eyes with this polymer. Okay, now that's the same polymer that's growing inside of you. Now you can be accessed, your full body can be accessed with various transverse electromagnetic waves. That's what they're doing. They've got your whole body conductive with this nanomachinery from the outside in and the inside out, and then they're vibrating you. That's the only way the amount of directed energy weapon they're sending at you could vibrate you. Because, like, if you go back to 1970, 1960, 1950, there was a conversation about various Soviet weapon systems being deployed at various embassies around the world. Anyways, to develop these types of energies, to get this type of energy to hurt people, they needed to be next door with, like, you know, heavy machine weapon systems. They needed to be out front with vans. They needed to be irradiating people to such a degree that not only did they get shook like you're feeling right now, but they developed leukemia very quickly and died. So they're not sending, the current day iteration of this isn't sending that much energy. It's not viable for them because they're using drones mostly. Sometimes it's your neighbors, and sometimes they do have weapon systems there. But even the neighbors' weapon systems are not as extreme as the drones that are commonly used as the drones, excuse me. So these drone waves, these drones circling you are bombarding you with somewhere between RF to radio frequency to microwave. It's somewhere in that range. In that range, it's vibrating the nanomachinery. So you got to deactivate the implants, and then, you know, there's so many other ways to get nanomachinery out of your body. And a good common way to do that is eating alkaline. When you eat alkaline foods, it helps disable the in your body nanomachinery. Hold on 1 second. Excuse me, miss, with the pictures. Can you turn your video off? It's making me seasick here.
Oh, okay, I will. Okay.
Thank you. Anyways, sorry. Do you have any questions about that? I know I said a lot. I'm rambling.
I do. Any type of oil on the eyelids? Does it matter?
No, but I've noticed mineral oil works really well.
Okay.
Castor oil?
Yeah, castor oil would work even better.
Oh, okay, I have that.
Perfect. And then if you use castor oil on your skin and then shave with it, you can shave some of this biofilm off your skin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's why I've got a shaved head and I shave everything pretty regularly because of that. I don't want anything that's reflective or refractive of directed energy weapons on me or in me or around me. I want to keep myself translucent to that weapon system so that when these directed energy weapons hit me, there's nothing for them to shake. Because when they hit my flesh, my regular flesh, I'm full of water. I'm insulated pretty well, right? Our bodies are insulated pretty well. So when we get this nano crap off of us and not within us, we're fine.
The Mylar, so I came in late on the call because I just got off work not too long ago. So I did miss a lot of that. What were you saying about the Mylar?
Mylar any shielding will work, but it won't work forever because eventually these counterintelligence torture teams, military contractors, whatever, gang bangers, human traffickers, that's what they are. They're all of those things. Eventually they'll find a way, spectrum-wise, electromagnetic spectrum-wise, to get around the shielding.
Okay.
So the Mylar will probably help you a lot tonight, but give it 3, 4, 5, a week, 2 weeks, it will stop helping you.
Is this like a Mylar blanket? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, the emergency survival blankets, they work to cut frequency. The Reflectex is a Mylar insulation it's sold at Home Depot and Lowe's, that type of thing. That will help quite a bit. Yeah, Refletix.
IX, okay. And then does yoga mats that are rubber, do you think that helps at all?
It would in layers. So if you had a conductive layer and then an insulative layer and then a conductive layer and an insulative layer, that would help you immensely. And there's it's a physics thing happens there that I don't have the time to explain to you right now, but it would help you demagnetize. If you go on Onion Head Andrew and start perusing the videos, and then my email is listed there as it is here, I believe. You can reach out to me with more specific questions, and I'll give you more specific answers as you move through this. Because this is the whole paradigm, right? I'm talking about something that you might have heard in passing, but not really able to piece it together.
Okay. What was the besides the conductive layer? What was the other layer?
It's orgone technology, but it's conductive, insulative, conductive, insulative. And when you stack them like that, it creates a dielectric charge. Dielectric charges bring magnetic charges into null. And I know that, I know that's a lot.
It's okay. I'm following you.
Yeah. So basically, that's what we're doing.
I have a question. Okay. Is there?
Thank you, Andrew.
You're welcome, and reach out if you've got further questions, because if you move through the material, you really should, and it's something that it will change your whole outlook on how this is happening to you. It's not something out of your control. It's totally in all of our controls once we understand that this nanomachinery is facilitating the directed energy weapons effectiveness.
Okay.
Hi, Andrew.
And the implants. Sorry.
Go ahead, Michelle.
That's okay. I know this is a touchy subject for a lot of people, but do you have any recommendations if we're being electronically raped? Because I get that sometimes 24 hours a day, on and off,
Yeah, so what's going on is that nanobots are crawling from the outside to the inside of your body. And once they deposit their payload, they're so small. I mean, when I say nano, they might even be smaller. They might be molecular. It's a crazy weapon system that's taken them the last 50 years to develop, but they have it. Either way, it's depositing a payload of polymer, right? So it's a biofilm. When that biofilm gets over an area of your body, it can be vibrated, right? And they will literally use laser arrays, so as much frequency as they can, to intensely vibrate an area as quickly as they can. So to answer your question, you combat the nanobots by using high voltages. This is where it gets tricky. But you can also use infrared lights if you want to go that route. If you don't mind sleeping naked, you take an infrared light and you shine it on that area of the body, and it will basically demagnetize the attacks more rapidly than they can vibrate you.
Can you use the
You can use infrared incandescent lights, 150 watt. Yeah.
What about the TV remote? Because that stops a lot of it. That has the infrared light on it.
Yeah, sure, but it's not going to be nearly as powerful as a 150 watt infrared heat lamp, and you can get those from any pet store. They're for reptiles.
And what about fly zappers?
What's that?
Fly zappers.
The bug zapper. Well,
yeah.
If you send that, it's going to hurt you. If you send that voltage through your body, it's going to hurt you. I don't know. I don't think you can. Maybe you can. I don't know. Block the laser array or the whatever beam weapon they're using on your private with that, but then you'd have to sleep with it on. I don't know though. I've never used that. What I can tell you is that I use high voltage produced from a ignition cylinder. Now, this is the last video on Onion Head Andrew Rumble channel, but I haven't published what I'm about to say because I haven't made it safe enough to publish. But if you take the energy that comes off, so it's about 35,000 volts that comes off an ignition coil, you can put that in an insulated thick cable, and you can put that cable near anywhere of your body, and it will, as the nanobots drop their payloads and their polymers, then it will deactivate it in that amount of time. So that they'll go to attack you, and it will just bring it right into null, the energy that's used. But again, that's next level stuff. The infrared light you can use, that will help you. But you got to sleep. You got to have the red light, the infrared incandescent red light, 150-watt lamp shining on your privates. And I've done that before. I've done that for a year of my life. But I was also in a safe area at night.
Andrew, I've got a question.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned orgone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, are you familiar with the violet ray machine?
Yes. Yeah. Definitely. I've got that on the channel too. That does the same thing that spinning copper does.
Okay, that's what I wanted to check with you because I'm pretty sure, and again, I'm not going to go into the details of why, but I think I have a 4G LTE implant in my spine. And in 2019, a friend used the violet ray machine, a pretty big one. They come small too, which I think we use this at a very low level. So I think even the small ones that are about $30 could probably still do something using it at a higher level. But anyway, my friend used it on my back like every other day for 2 weeks. And for 2.5 years, I had complete peace. It's almost like it broke a wave that was keeping the chip connected, like in and out of like cell phone areas.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you that maybe the mechanism of what happened there? Because I really had peace, and then all of a sudden one day when I joined Discord, it all came back, although not quite as bad. But it's almost like they grabbed me when I joined Discord, although perhaps it was a coincidence,
Yeah. I bet you it was a coincidence. You had just moved down their ledger of people that they were experimenting on, and then you just came back up in the rotation. That's usually how it works when they back off people. But no, definitely. The violet ray wand will send dielectric energy into an area. And if you have a powerful enough violet ray wand, it could potentially fry a chip circuit similar to an EMP.
Okay, so then that, and then I guess the other thing
sorry for interrupting you. I would recommend you do the EMP DIY device on Onion Head Andrew Rumble, because I know that works. The violet ray wand, it's like it could work potentially if everything was lined up perfectly, but it would have to be, for it to work, lined up perfectly.
So prior to all this, when this came in 2005, so it was 14 years later that I got 2.5 years of peace. It's a long time to go, but I would seem to get away from it, and they would reconnect through my sunroof into my ear like a big zap, like almost like a fax sound and a pop. And then I would feel it go down my spine, and then I'd have like basically V2K from this chip, screaming noise in the spine. And, off and on I would get rid of it, or I would travel, come back, bam, it would grab me that way. And this would usually be in a area like some of it was in a place where they had a bunch of things for stadiums, like the equipment for stadiums.
Yeah.
So, but have you heard of anything like that happening to people? It's a very scary thing to have happen while you're driving. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, what I can say about it is that I think the technology that you're talking about is the precursor to what I'm talking about.
Okay.
If you don't have the nanotech present, then you would be able to de-ionize yourself to a point where these weapon systems would have problems hooking into you. Now, that's true of today. That's true of yesteryear. I think that may be what was happening in yesteryear. But today, the issue is that we all have this nanotech growing in us. And that's been going on for the last 20 years, but especially the last 8 years, they put it in everything. This chemtrail-like particulate, it's in like half the corporate food, for example. So we're always eating this crap, and it's always growing more and more and more and more in us. So, but to your earlier, to the question, I don't particularly know about the older weapon systems, but it sounds like that's what you were dealing with.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you for your question. Next question in line for Andrew.
Yeah, I got a question. Yeah, I mean, I experience like extreme. I don't get the directed energy weapons as much as far as different pains for my body, but it's more. I would say more like a just control of my like emotions and mind. I'm like in a hive mind where I get V2K 24/7, and they share like their thoughts and their emotions with me, and they can like kind of they can put me into like different like emotional states. If that makes any sense. I don't know if you experience that or know what I'm talking about, but yeah, they put me into like weird emotional states. When I'm out in public, they can kind of manage me as far as like putting me in a good mood, and then immediately just kind of like put me into like a very sad or panic state whenever they want to. Do you know at all like how that system works? Like, I mean, I read Dr. Robert Duncan's book, and he talked about BCI and how they kind of use hive mind to do that. But yeah, I don't know what you think about that, or shielding for it, or way to mitigate it.
How long have you been targeted?
Overtly when it started happening was 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
2 years. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna guess that, but I didn't want to come off like an asshole for doing that. But when they keep it at that level without the pain, it's because they're ramping up, and it's to keep you in a state of fear and anxiety. So as they induce more and more pain, you feel like you have control. You never have control. They'll just keep increasing it, and then you'll understand the jolting pains that some other people talk about. When I was first targeted, the first 2 years, well, 3 years, I would say. First year and a half was covert. The next year and a half, obviously, was overt. That's more or less how it was for me, too, but with moments of extreme intensity. I don't get caught too much into the hive mind part of this, just throwing that out there, because it's all very speculative. I know there's an element of truth to this. I've actually seen some of their operators with the neural interfaces. I don't know exactly how it correlates, but what I will say is this: the emotional changes that you're going through, if you have nanotechnology present growing inside your brain in the synapses, then it would just be a matter of mapping your brain and sending the right voltages at the right times. And that's what's going on. When they induce fear, it's all inflammation. It's all inflammation, directed inflammation. If I figure out which part of your brain gets sad, then potentially I can inflame it and make you sad. If I can figure out what part of your brain puts you in a fear state, then I can inflame it and make you afraid. But all of that is only present with nanotechnology, and all of that, as far as I know today. And well, you can do it with just different frequency, but it's not done for a variety of reasons. It's not controlled, and that's not what they're after. They're making a automated system to roll out to the public, right? So there would be no point in just blanketing you with frequency. The point would be doing it in a controlled way for the data ledgers. So long story short, it's directed inflammation that is moving through channels of polarization of the artificial nervous systems of nanotech, like I've been talking about. If you get the implants, number one, you get the implants dealt with, you'll start feeling these charges. And then number two, like I said earlier, there's a variety of things you can do with the nanotech, like eating alkaline, using infrared light, wearing copper. There's so many things you can do. And then if you just move through the onion head Andrew Rumble, you'll get an idea of what I'm talking about. But does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, that's helpful. I mean, the nanotech stuff it's confusing to me, but it makes sense.
Okay.
I mean, even I heard another TI saying like go to the beach and try to swim in the ocean and stuff like that, and that seems to actually help me a lot. I don't know why does that help?
Because the salt and in the water is slightly magnetically charged, and what it does is it pulses the more extreme nanotech out of you. It's amazing. I swam in ice cold Pacific Coast ocean water a few years ago, and it cleaned the nanotech out of me instantly. It was like 10 minutes of swimming in ice cold water. It was such a nice experience. But yeah, no, it helps immensely swimming in the ocean because of the nanotech part of this. But what happens right after that is that you get all this particulate and nanotech from the chemtrails, the food supply, so forth, and it gets reordered among these implants that are so small that are shot into you, right? And then the subcutaneous artificial nervous system is reconstructed, and it even reaches all the way back into the synapses of your brain. So if you go swimming, it only takes 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours for them to be able to lock back onto you again afterwards with the implants present.
Yeah, that is
gotcha.
How it feels. Yeah.
That's exactly how it feels, right?
Thank you, Ben, for that. Okay, next question in line for Andrew.
I got a question, Andrew. This is a serious one.
Okay. Go ahead, Deb. Where'd you go?
I'm right here. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Okay. I have a serious question. When you're standing in line at the grocery store and someone comes up to you, they're standing right next to you on your back and they're like inches away, and they don't have a cart, they're standing there with something. And I'm telling you, I turned around one time and I almost knocked a lady over because I didn't know she was there. I said, "What are you doing?" "Oh,
They're doing two things particularly. One is providing cover. They don't know that they're doing that. And the second, it depends on who you're dealing with, right? If you're dealing with one of these military contractors or their wives or whatever, then what they're trying to do is they're trying to spray your food with nanoparticulate for all the reasons that I've been talking about this whole time, so that you consume it and it helps build this artificial nervous system through your body, making you targetable along the paths of the implants. If they're regular citizens that are gang stalking or whatever you want to call it, then they don't know. They've just been told to harass you, intimidate you, whatever, that you're mentally ill, that whole thing.
Okay.
Well, thank you, DK, for that. We're going to, any more questions for Andrew? Any more questions for Andrew? Go ahead.
I have one more question. Andrew, what are some of the top medical conditions that you have heard of or seen from all of this, currently the nano stuff that you were just talking about?
Oh, geez. Strokes, clots, organ failures, heart attacks.
Okay.
Yeah, it's, and to keep this more simple, I guess it's not more simple, but most people have a good understanding of the hydrogels that were found in the COVID vaccines. The hydrogel is just another iteration of the nanotechnology that I'm talking about. So the graphene self-assembling wires are also another iteration of the nanotechnology that we're talking about. All these different iterations or whatnot, they combine in your body to make this network this artificial nervous system that I've been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And
Andrew, thank you. Thank you, Dan. Andrew, thank you, too. Any more questions for Andrew? I think that covers it, Andrew. Thank you very much for dropping by. We're at the 1 hour mark.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I know that was confusing. It's a lot to take in the first time when you hear it. So if anybody has questions, first go to Unedited Andrew Rumble page, and it may answer them. But if you still have questions, just reach out, email me. I've always got time for survivors.
We'll have you come back another time and talk some more. How's that sound?
Sounds great.
Okay, thank you, Andrew. Thank you, everybody.
What is your email? Thank you so much.
What is your email, if you could share it on the mic?
Yeah, it's ACOLE9689 That's ACOLE9689 It's also listed on the Rumble page, my Rumble page.
Okay, thank you. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I would be remiss to not point out, I'm wearing these blue blockers. This is the one thing you can shield really effectively is your eyes. And we should all be shielding our eyes from blue light frequency because we're being bombarded with it all the time. And this is another big point of these experiments, this torture, is to access your brain through your eyes. So wear these glasses or put the orange glasses over, these are actually over my regular glasses. I don't know if you can see that. But either way, if you protect your eyes, you'll really do a good job protecting the front of your brain. It's really worth your time.
That's interesting to know. Thank you, Andrew. The book club is not tonight because the book I bought was corrupted. So we'll be coming back next week with Jason Lee to talk about his new book. And thank you, Andrew. And thank you for watching this on your favorite platform. Please like, subscribe, and make a comment. I appreciate it. We're going to end the recording now. Thank you.